Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this board game life. My name is Mark, and today I'm going to do something a little different. And I was thinking about doing a monthly series about looking back at the previous month and just kind of sharing what I played and just maybe some real quick thoughts. I don't want to spend a lot of time on each game because I did play 37 different games in the month of February. Um, and it was like a total of 60 plays total. But so we're going to start at the bottom of my list. So a lot of these, as I'm going to work way up, I think most games are going to be played one time. Some of these are two, two, three, and four, and then I have one that I played actually 9 times this month. So we'll save that for the last. And you've heard about all of these before because we've talked about them on our shows. But I just thought it'd be fun to look back, see what I played for the month. All right, so first off, we've got Dogfight, Rule the Skies in 20 minutes. So when Rob was here, we played this one, and we actually did do a video of it, so you can check out that playthrough. Looks like this was about an 11-minute game, so it's going to be a short video. Rob ruled the skies in 11 minutes as he shot me down out of the sky really quickly. So fun little two-player game. Be sure to check that one out. I also played Just One with my game group. We did this as a little warm up. It's a fun little party game. You can have. I want to say I think the game supports 8 people, but in reality, you could play with a larger group. You just would have to have some other forms of things to write up. You could use little notebooks and paper and stuff, whatever you wanted. But Just One, you basically someone is it, so to say. They take a card from the stack and place it on their dry erase board, and it basically they don't see it, and they pick a number between 1 and 4. Well, each one of those numbers has a word on it, and then everyone else at the table's got to try to write just one word on their dry erase marker, and then when everyone's done, the person that's got to guess obviously looks away. Everyone else shows each other what they wrote for their one clue. Any people that match, they wipe their dry erase boards, and they don't get to put a clue in. So the more you match with others, the harder it is for that person to guess the clue. And this is a team game. You want that person to guess. So the more right answers you get together as a team, it's just basically a score as many points as you can. So you're going to do better if you can try to give as many clues to the individual as possible. So a lot of times you don't want to state the obvious, but then again, sometimes it happens where no one states the obvious, and then people are trying to go out, try to be a little bit more obscure, and maybe that's going to make it harder for the person guessing. Well, how does that even relate? Um, but then the obvious ones are not there because people are trying to avoid it. So it's really fun to see how, sometimes someone will say, I'm doing the obvious one. They'll just say something like, I'm writing it. So then everyone else is like, okay, well, does what they think is obvious, is it the same as what I think's obvious? So it's a real fun game, great for everyone of all ages. We did this game. We were just playing until some people showed up. It was just a warm up. We went maybe five, 6 people, and then we just stopped. But it was fun. All right, my youngest son wanted to play. My kids bought like Jumanji, like in the wooden box years ago, and I don't know why we never played it. It just never got played. It sat on the shelf, and I've been trying to get him. My youngest is not a big board gamer, doesn't usually like them, and so I've been trying to find some things that he might like. And I'm like, I saw it sitting there, and I'm like, and it was on my shelf of shame, right? Because it's something we've never played. I'm like, I'm gonna play this. He will play this, and he did. And he loved it. He enjoyed it. That was a real quick game. I was surprised how fast that one was. That was a 15-minute game, and we won. Also played some Blank Slate. This was a group game, a real easy word game. It's a fun party game. This is, again, one of those games everybody can play, kind of like Just One. It's great for kids. It's great for non-gamers, gamers, seniors. It's just, you can just sit there, and it's very easy to do. You just basically are thinking of one word. just like just one, you have to come up with one word clue. In blank slate, you will read a card like someone will read like truck blank, and then everyone else has to, with one word, come up with truck what, like, and might say truck bed, truck liner, something like that. Truck stop, I think, is what Rob came up with in our, we talked about this in the last show. And what you're trying to do there in the group is you want to match with one other person in the group, and then both of you, if you can, you'll both get 3 points. If you match with more than one person, then everyone that did match with you gets 1 point, as well as yourself. If nobody matches, nobody gets any points. So you want to match, just not with everybody. So there is that, and then first to 25 wins. So fun game, quick game. We did that one another 15 minutes, and we were done. All right, then I finally got to play Seven Wonders. This is the second edition version. My introduction to Seven Wonders World was with Seven Wonders Architects, which I absolutely love. It's a fantastic game. And so that was my first introduction. So I think in the reverse way of where a lot of people may have played Seven Wonders, and then they go out and they try these games that spawn off of that. And there might be like, well, they're comparing it to Seven Wonders. Well, here I'm comparing this to Seven Wonders Architects, which personally I like better, and it might just be because that's what I started with. I don't really know. Maybe I would have felt differently had I started with Seven Wonders, but Seven Wonders was still a fun game. I like how you can kind of build off your neighbors and things like that. But just the way the gameplay was in Architects, I just preferred that better. I like actually building the wonders instead of putting a card down saying you built a part of your wonder. I actually like that you have to actually build it. It was kind of fun, but all right, then back to one of the 20 minutes, Blitzkrieg, World War II in 20 minutes. Again, this was one that Rob and I did on stream and or recorded for the channel. And another really a fun game. I liked this one. Of the three that I'm going to talk about, because we also played another one called Caesar Sees Rome or something like that. I thought we did. Why is that not listed here? I know we did. Oh, it's up there. And that's right. So this was, I don't know if it's my favorite. The Caesar one is really good too, but I think the Blitzkrieg World War II in 20 minutes. There's more to the game than there is in Caesar. Caesar is pretty. I think it's limited. You're just putting a tile somewhere and putting your troops and their strategy and all that. But with this one, you have to pull tiles. You only have so many tiles, and it could be, there's land tiles, there's water tiles. So you have to have, to be on the water, you have to either have a water tile or an air asset. For the land, it's either air or a land asset. You can't put a naval ship on the land, and you can't put a tank in the water. So that there's a lot more kind of planning ahead, and you got to be careful when you place your tiles, because if you place one and leave a blank space, your opponent can take that and get some victory points for completing the campaign or the mission in that, or the campaign in that theater. So there's I think a lot more going on with victory tracks, the tug and pull of the victory points in each theater, and yeah, it's probably my favorite of the three. Okay, next, Robot Quest Arena. This is one, again, I played with my youngest son. This is a fun game. This is if you remember like BattleBots or Robot Wars or whatever, it was on TV, and people are remote controlling their robots, and they're duking it out. They got, big hammers and saw blades and flamethrowers out of these things. They're basically trying to destroy their opponent's robots. That's what this game is. It's a deck builder, but you have your robot out there in the arena, so you're confined to a certain area. There are traps and stuff in the arena. There are like health pickups and different things like that there, so you can run over some items and get bonuses. You only score points by like attacking or staying in the middle of the arena. So you'll gain points just by sitting in a certain area in the middle. A lot of fun. This game also has they got some expansions coming out, and the expansions for this are really cool because you basically buy this one little robot, and it comes with his own deck of cards, and then they'll have like what they've had so far is like additional upgrades to the game overall, like more cards. Like one of them I got was like, here's a bunch of defense cards that you put into the main deck that you're shuffling and put in the market. So now people can buy defensive type cards. Or there's these special ability cards that now go in there that people can purchase. So I know in 2025, I think there was several. I remember I looked it up. I think there's 4 or 5 expansions planned. So I'm really looking forward to getting more. The box you buy comes with room already in it to put all this additional expansions that they're planning and that are set to release here this year into the base box, which is really cool. I like that idea. There's plenty of room in there for more stuff, and yeah, it's fun. It's a really good game. If you got younger kids, maybe preteens, I think, to the younger on the teen side would probably really love this game. But it was fun. I really had fun with playing with my son. He just slaughtered me, which actually kind of surprised me. It's like, I got him on this. I'm just trying to sucker him in, and next thing I know, I'm like, he just wailed at me. Just kept wailing. I was like, dude, I'm trying to run away from him, and he was really good at it. All right. Then I played Bullet Heart, and I also played Bullet Star. So I've got both of those games I played. I think it was Bullet Star. I played I did a boss battle which on camera, which I think I ended up playing it completely wrong. I think I misread the boss cards, and I'm gonna have to go back and retry that. I think I was just misinterpreting what the way it's worded. That game, the rule book, and I struggled. I mentioned this on the show, trying to understand. I think it was translated. It was probably it was written in a different language, and then likely my understanding is that it was written in a different language, like Japanese, and then translated, but the way it reads isn't necessarily clear to me. But I'm a little dumb, right? So I don't know. Might be me, might be the rule book. It's probably more me than anything, but I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna try that one. Because I do like that the pressure was off with the bullet. When you're doing the boss fights in that game, the pressure's off. There's no timer. You can take your time. You can play your stuff and look at your things. In the regular game, when you're facing off with other players, there's a 3-minute timer, and it's just like you're just you got panic mode, which can be fun, and it was cool. It is kind of fun to play that, but it was nice just to kind of, let's take a break. Let's take a little bit of a breather and kind of enjoy, especially when there's so many different characters and they have different patterns and abilities. And it's like, I can't really look at it and then say, go 3 minutes. So it's nice to have that little downtime and learn the character. It's a great way to learn the characters in the game. All right. Shadowhunters. This is a game that is super expensive if you can find it. Someone in my group had it. They brought it. So I kind of remember it wasn't a deck builder. It was like there was these spots on the board. You rolled a die. You went to a certain area, and then you had to do something. And you were drawing. Some places would have you draw certain cards. But it's like a deduction game. You're trying to, some people might be on your team at the table. So, some might be the same. I can't even remember what it was like, but on your team essentially. And there was multiple like teams and you don't know who anyone is and you're trying to figure it out. And you're trying to get rid of certain people, or other teams to score the victory. And you got to be careful like who you attack, because you could be attacking someone on your own team. And there's like certain questions like you can ask. Some of the cards will ask things you can ask a certain person, or you hand the card to them and they read it and they'll have to answer like yes or no. And you have to tell the truth unless you're you do have a specific person, which does allow you to lie. So, but I think there's only one character in the game that does allow you to lie. So, then you still don't know if they're telling the truth. So it's interesting. Fun game. Really did enjoy it. It was very interesting. Rebirth got some more of this Reiner Knizia game. I really do enjoy Rebirth. I need to get a play on the second side so I can play on the Ireland map with the additional uh, new icon tokens and stuff, the new components that come into that game and new cards, and changes up the gameplay just a little bit because instead of private goals, there's public goals. So everybody knows what everyone's trying to go for, as opposed to the Scotland side of the board where it's private, and then you don't know what everyone else is going for. But real fun game. Rebirth is excellent. Nice little bag builder. It's really good quality. Everything in that game, and it plays. I think in 45 minutes, roughly. Yeah, you're playing a game in about 45 minutes. Got some space base in as well, and again, got to introduce this to a couple people in my group that hadn't played it yet, and that two of them went out and bought the game within within days of playing this with last week. So I'm like, cool. I'm glad I was able to. I just grabbed it. It was just one of those things I just brought. We ended up playing it. Several people hadn't, and everyone loved it. Space Base is a fantastic game. So I was really happy to get that one out there. If you're not familiar with Space Base, what I love about it is you are at the very beginning of the game, it can be a little slow, but what you're doing is everybody has a track of from 1 to 12, and there's a card on every spot. And then there's an open market, and there's like 6 cards in row 1, 6 and 2, and 6 in row 3. And row 3 is the more expensive stuff. So you want to buy cards. So you're gonna roll your dice, and then you need to, based on what you roll, it's 2 dice, and you're gonna, say I rolled a 2 and a 3. Okay, so I could say I could take whatever the 2 and the 3, whatever those, like each one probably gives you 1 gold, or I could add them up and go 5 and take what the 5 is. So in this case, it might be like your 1 and your 2, or your 2 and your 3 will each give you 1 gold. Your 5 might give you 2 gold. So it doesn't matter. You're just going to get 2 gold. But in that thought way, in that way that it works, sometimes you're like, well, you'll get more benefits if you do the combination. So you can either split the dice and use both numbers, or combine them and use the 1 number. And then you take that and you buy a new card. When you buy a new card, it replaces one you have. And you take the one you had and you flip it upside down and tuck it under your board. And there's also a little red part that sticks out. Now, what that means is, and say I stuck it under like 7, or say I bought a 7, right? So I replaced my 7, took my original one, tucked it upside down. Now I hand the dice to the next player. If that next player rolls a 7, then I get the bonus on that red part at the top of my board. So the more cards you can replace and get tucked into the top of your board, and then you can keep building on those. I could tuck 2 or 3 7s and collect all those bonuses whenever someone else rolls. So what happens is, at the very beginning, no one's got any of those tucked. But then you start tucking things, and then every time someone's rolling, by the end of the game, you're getting something on every person's roll. So you're not out of the game. You're not just sitting there twiddling your thumbs until the dice come back around to you. You are invested in paying attention to everything, every roll that someone's doing. And then by the time it comes down, and if you get some good cards out and you're matching on their rolls, your income, your money could be quite high. That allows you to pay for stuff. So you can get better and better cards as you go along. And then, so the interesting thing about it is, if you spend money, it doesn't matter how much you spend. If you have 10 credits available and you only spend 5, you lose everything. Everything resets back to your starting currency point. So the only way to save is to pass, like don't buy anything. Then your credits will stay until you come back around. So you can build them up that way too. But you're not tucking anything on that round. So there's it's like, how do you want to do it? It's do you want to keep trying to build it and lose out on everybody else potentially earning points or victory points, or earning your income level, your base income level up, or gaining more credits, or maybe earning some of the rockets, which are the victory points. So really cool mechanic. Really, the game is a lot of fun. Really enjoy it. Again, that was Space Base. Rob and I played probably over 2 to 3 months span on BGA. We played a game called Small World, and I like playing games on BGA. I don't like learning a game on BGA. For some reason, games that I've had to learn on there, I struggle. Like I don't. I know it's dependent on someone's writing it, and a lot of times, there's a lot of the games have a tutorial, and I'm going through it, but it's like, oh, do this or do that. Um, Sometimes it's just not a good way to learn for me, at least. I need more of the hands-on play in the game. So this was not a fun game, I don't think, for either one of us, and it just I'm glad it finally ended. So I don't really have an opinion on it. I would need to play this one. I think this would be a fun game, but I would need to learn it physical in a physical copy to understand all the mechanics and how everything works. And then when you're playing on BGA, it's like, oh yeah, I know what all these symbols and stuff do. Then I played Harvest. I was looking forward to this game. This I just played by myself. I did do a video of this one as well. I just did like a faux player, 2-player trying to learn how to play the game. And I was really looking forward to this because this is from Keymaster Games, who also made Parks, which I really enjoy. I really like Parks. I did not care for this one as much. But again, it was a one-time play, a learning, trying to learn the game. You can never judge a game when you're trying to learn it or when you've played it. Some games, it's like your first or second play. Maybe you're still trying to grasp concepts. So I try to really hold a judgment back until I feel like I've played enough times, like, okay, this is, it's clicking. Now I'm getting it. And then at that point, if I'm not enjoying it, okay, then I'll make my judgment. So I can't really say what I think of Harvest at this point. All I can say is I need to play it a few more times to see what I think. Castles of Burgundy, the card game, played that when Rob was here. That's fantastic. I didn't think, how could you get Castles of Burgundy, which is a very large game, how could you turn that into a card game and still feel like you're playing Castles of Burgundy? They did it. They really did it, and it was really fun. And the game was, how long did we take? 1 hour. We did 1 hour. I don't think I can play Castles of Burgundy with two people in an hour. Maybe if both people really knew what they were doing, and we didn't have a lot of AP going on, but first time playing a card game, both of us having to learn it, played and finished in an hour. That I thought was really good. So that game, after played a couple times, we'd probably be down between the 30 and 45-minute range on that. And you're not playing Castles of Burgundy in 30 minutes. All right, beer and bread. This one we did play on the video, recorded for the channel. Rob and I played beer and bread. Really, really fun game. I would really like to play this one again. The problem is it's a 2-player game. I do have a couple people I can play, just do some 2-player games, which is good because if you see right over my shoulder, Halo Flashpoint just came in today. I did do an unboxing, and that went up on the show, on the channel already. So Halo Flashpoint's available, 2-player game. So I got to find someone to play. That won't be too tough. I do have a couple people, but I just like my built-in players are gone. I don't know. I only got one. My youngest is home, and he's now not so young. He's now officially an adult. So even though he likes Halo, a video game, I don't think he's going to like the board game. I don't think he'll care for that. But I'll get it played, and then I will definitely be doing a review on it and sharing my thoughts. Okay, what else? Oh, I jumped off. I was talking about beer and bread. That's being a 2-player game. Beer and bread, excellent resource management game where you have it's what's really interesting with beer and bread is you have this mechanic where in the I forgot what they call it, like an abundant season, you get more resources, but when you in your deck of cards, you're passing them back and forth. You take a card and you hand it around the table. So everyone's kind of seeing the cards. In a dry season, there's less resources, which you hold up, you end up keeping all the cards you have in your hand. So it's kind of neat how that mechanic keeps changing. And you're trying to either make beer or bread, and then you got to get them to your plants or your bakery and your brewery, and then make those, and then you got to do a cleanup pull them out basically to get the points right. It's a really great game. There, I did it again. I'm sorry about that. I realize I'm slipping back into saying that a lot, trying to remember not to. It always happens when I pause or when I have a moment of thought. It's like I just throw that in as I'm thinking, and I just should practice not saying anything instead of That's so terrible. However, Beer and Bread, excellent game. If you're looking for a 2-player game, this one again took was an hour, but it was for Rob and I. It was a first time playing. So again, if you got a couple or you're looking for, you play, maybe with your spouse, significant other, you like to play 2-player games. This is a really good one, and check it out. Don't let it pass you by. Got to play more Survival of the Fattest. This one is a game that I do believe is starting to show up in retail. I haven't seen it, but I've seen mention of it now that it looks like it's getting out there. I've had this game for a little while. I did back at Kickstarter. It's a really fun game. And it's a worker placement, card drafting. There's a lot of different mechanics in this game. And you got to remember what's in your stash, and you're trying to gain recipes, and you got to complete these recipes to score points. You need to feed your critter if you want to even have a chance at winning. If you don't feed your critter, you lose, period. So you have to feed your critter, and then they upgrade and you get another ability, and then you're trying to do all these other things in the marketplace and the trading post and getting goods, and you're going out foraging in the forest to get more food cards and stuff like that. But you got to be aware there's traps out there. You don't want traps unless you're one of the characters, and it might be the fox. Don't hold me to that, but there is one of the characters in the game that benefits from traps, where they score points by having the traps, and everyone else loses points. So, fun game. Hadrian's Wall. We did a 5-6 player game of this on our game night, and it's just fantastic. It's not a roll and write, it's a flip and write. So you flip the cards to see what all the resources everyone's getting. You flip another one to see what else you're getting. You choose a specialty, and then which gets tucked. You're trying to meet some goals by the end of the game. The other one you get to provide you some additional resources and possible options during the game, depending on what things you allocate your resources towards. And this is really fun because as you're using a resource to do something, to take an action on your sheets of paper, you mark it off. And when you did that, so you pay that resource, but then it's like, oh, you gain this other resource. So there's a ton of this. I'm putting this in, I'm gaining these back. So as it goes on, and everyone around the table is doing this all at the same time, you're all playing the same calendar year at the same time. So you can probably kind of call it, I think they call this like a group solitaire game or something like that. We're all playing at the same time, but we are just focused on our own board. There's no interaction. Like, what I do is not affecting anyone else at the table. So I think if you don't like those like group solitaire type games, you may not like this, but it's really a lot of fun, and it's you got to check it out at least. Definitely check this one out if you haven't. Ginkopolis is another game we played. This one was a tile game that we were building. You could build up buildings and stuff, or you could build them up, or you can build them out by matching tiles of the same color. I think numbering had something to do with it too. Can't remember. Played it once, and it's been a little bit. So the nuances of it are kind of already slipping past, but Ginkopolis was a lot of fun. Got to teach Rob Skyrise. Skyrise is one of my favorite games from Roxley, and I got the beautiful premium edition, which just love this, love this game. and it was a fun time. Rob liked it, so he might be scouting one out himself. He better be. Rob, if you're listening, you need Skyrise Premium Edition in your library. Next, another one of my most favorite at the games is A Planet Unknown. Why did I slip in? I don't know. I have no idea why I just did that. That was stupid. Planet Unknown has nothing to do with an Italian accent. And I don't want to even insult Italians by trying to sound like I know what I'm talking about. Planet Unknown, Adam's Apple Games. I got my reprint with the deluxe copy. And oh boy, I am so glad I got the deluxe edition of this. Component trays, a lot more maps, a lot more stuff in the game. And then I got the Supermoon expansion and got the cover for the Lazy Susan. Life is good again in the world of Planet Unknown. If you have Planet Unknown, you bought the original and you hate it because all the tiles fall out, again, all you have to do is buy the Supermoon expansion, and the lid is in there. It will fit all copies of Planet Unknown. So it's not like you got to buy a new copy to get it. It's in the expansion. So all you have to do is go buy expansion, and it's not expensive. You're getting more game, plus you get this lid for your Lazy Susan, which will keep everything in place. All right. Played some Finspan, Stonemeyer games. Got this out to the board. This to the table. Took a dive into this one. Get what I did there? We dove into this game, and everyone really liked it. It's a wingspan system style of game, but instead of playing your boards horizontally, you do it vertically because you're diving down into darker and darker water. Fish live at different depths. You're finding eggs. You're hatching eggs, and trying to get those young fish together into schools to score more points. A lot of fun. Finspan is really well done, and it's a quicker, faster play version than the other two, Wormspan or Wingspan. So if you want to play the Span game and you just don't have a lot of time, Finspan, check it out. Then we played. Rob taught me Matinai. I don't know if I said that right. Matinai. Carl Chudik game. Multi-use cards. This game wasn't bad. I really struggled. We kind of joke, him and I joke back and forth. I hope if Carl Chudik ever hears this, I don't hate you. I've joked. I've not enjoyed the games I've played of yours. This one was better than, and I've only played 2 of your games. Trying to remember what the other one was. I played it last year with Rob at his place when we did our first con, and it's drawn. It doesn't matter, but I struggle with these multi-use cards, and it's just, I think it's a system I'm not used to playing. I don't play a lot of games that have that. We did another game somewhere in this list. I'll remember it when I get to it, where you get a card and you could tuck it on the bottom or to the side or to the top or to the left, and it did different things. There was multiple uses, and this one was better than the first game I played that Carl did, that was taught to me. And but again, I kind of struggled. Like, I'm struggling trying to figure out what to do or how to get. It's like I need to get these, but it seems like the cards you need, the resources you need, never come up when you need them. And by the time you get them and you start building that, it's like, well, now they're doing me no good. It's a whole different game mechanic that I'm just not comfortable with yet, as familiar with as some other games that I've played a lot of. So that's one of those things they're just going to have to keep with time, try them some more, keep learning, and maybe grow into that. Oh, La Granja. This was the other one that we played that had multi-use cards, and it was another thing where I'm like, I think I spent a lot of time up the top of my board and the bottom of my board, and Rob was like working the left and right sides of his board with these cards, and I was like, kept looking. I was like, man, I need to get the stuff expanded this way, but this seems like it'd be good. And it's an interesting mechanic because you really got to look at everything, and you're trying to decide what's going to be best, not only right now but later on in the game too. So interesting. I really did like La That was a good game. All right, next, Nemesis. Got to play Nemesis. Rob got to experience my love of Nemesis. Don't know if he liked it as well as I did. I don't think it's his type of game. He really likes his Euros. This is not a Euro game. Um, I don't know where Adam Kopinski lives. Maybe he might be Polish with a name like Kopinski. I think I got his name right. Um, he very well may be. Let's see if I can quickly look this up. Um, how? Oh, there it is. It's the button that says "View it" on BGG. Is this? Yeah, Adam Kopinski. So he might be. He's probably Polish. Um, so maybe it is a. I mean, it is from Awakened Realm, so it very well could be a Euro game, but not in the tradition of the Euro game like Castles of Burgundy or something like that, or La Grande Hall. Rob's big into those that style of games, and Nemesis is very different from that. So it sounds like he enjoyed it. I just don't know if he enjoyed it to the depth of what I like, how I really dig this game. Then he brought Twilight Struggle with him, and 3 hours of how to play videos and 6 hours of playing. By the time it ended, we were beat. We were tired. But uh, it's probably not a game I'll ever go back and play. And that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it. It's just too long. Typically, I think I'm about a 2 hour mark, and I'm out. I don't normally want to play a game that takes more than 2 hours. And this obviously this is like a 2 to 3 hour game that just took us a lot longer because, well, I'm just gonna say it. Rob is slow. We're both learning it. It's not. There's a lot into this game. What I really think was cool was how they used real world events to make this game. So you could be doing something and then you hit a certain point in history and something you were able to do before is now gone because of a real treaty that was signed or something to that effect. Or it's very interesting. I wasn't expecting. I knew that it was based on history, but I was like, well, yeah, but it's a game. You can't lock you into what you can't quote repeat history. But they were able to make a game like it, and it was really interesting how things work together. So, and how things would change, and how you had to adjust based on what events took place in time. All right. So all of those were a one-time play. Now the next couple are going to be I played these twice. So I got to play some Don't Llama. This is if you haven't played Don't Llama, it was a Kinder, I think it was a Spiel des Jahres award winner, I believe. I know it's got some award on the cover, and I think that's what it was. But Don't Llama is a fantastic, quick card game, very easy to pick up, very fun to play, and yes, what else can I say? This should be in everybody's library. Then we have Deep Dive. We played this one a couple times with Rob and my family, and it's another really good game. It's a cute, fun game, but it's not cute to where it's no fun, right? It's like, oh, it's so cute. No, it's not. It's not Rainbow Bright. Okay, it's not the Smurfs. It's Deep Dive. You're taking penguins going down in the further depths. You're trying to get to the better food that's at the bottom, but then there's a lot more um um every time I do that I'm just gonna I'm gonna take a moment to meditate there. Deep Dive. So there's better food at the bottom, but there's also more predators. That was the word I was looking for. So you get more and more predators. So your risks of not getting the food and losing that penguin go up at the further you go down. So it's fun, it's easy, and does not take a long time. Caesar Room in 20 minutes. I mentioned this earlier. I did play this twice in the month. It has. I like it because it is a limited. So, like I was talking about Blitzkrieg World War II, where there was more options, and I liked that. But with Caesar, I also like that it doesn't have as many options, which seems so counter to what I was saying earlier. But you are trying to determine like how many when you put your little token out, you're putting it on the border between two different areas, and there's a number of how many armies you're committing to each side. So as you start putting them out and your opponents are putting them out, you got to also keep track. Do if I put a 0 or a 1 here and they've got 4, am I going to be able to take the other territory, the other areas needed and get enough armies out to take that bonus that's in the middle and claim that territory? Or am I giving it to them? But what if I really need on the other side? So how to split up your armies, which territories to take, which of the bonuses you're going to want to go after, all play a large part of how this game works itself out. And it's again, this is a 20-minute game, and it's fantastic. Don't pass it by. It's really good. All right, then I played Cities. This is from I think it's from Devere. Could have swore I just had it sitting here. I was just going to look and see if it was it Devere, but I don't know where it's at. Might be on that shelf right behind. No, this one over down. I can't over here. It might be down there. So really good, fun game. This is a like you're building a city, but you can get um, these what they call like features. So you're building basically land and water tiles, and then some of the tiles have colors that you're going to build and put these little plastic building pieces up, and they can go up a certain height. And you're going to have cards that you can pick that will give you bonus points if your building's too high or 3 or 4, and then how many of a certain color maybe you're trying to get, or you want to put water features like whales and boats and lighthouses, or maybe in the park you want the water fountain or these different statues and things like this in your city. So you're building out your little city in a is it a nine tile, it's like a 3x3 grid, I believe it is. So and everybody's doing the same, but everyone's city is going to look different and the waters are all going to go different. So it's a drafting. So you have everything out on the board, but then everybody's taking on their turn. Do they maybe draft a building set, or they're going to draft a tile set, or they're going to take a bonus card set, or they're going to draft a feature, to place. And it's after the first round, everyone goes like, then the next person, like they're limited to, and like if you're in a 2-player game, then you can take 2 items from each of the 4 rows. But if you are in a 3 or more, then you're limited to what you can take. So typically it's going to be 1 item from each row. So it's like you got to look at everything and go, okay, what's the one I want the most? Because you got to get that because it may not be there by the time it comes back around to you. So a lot of different strategies that can be applied to that, and it's a quick game and a lot of fun. All right, next one, sitting right here next to me. I played a lot of Marvel Dice Throne missions lately. I did start it at the end of February, and if you've been watching the channel, and make sure to hit that alert icon, hit that little bell right there, so that you can be alerted. Obviously, not that one, but the one that's probably up in the corner of your screen. Be sure to hit that bell icon, and then you'll be alerted when I'm dropping content. Lately, I've been doing at least once a day, sometimes 2. I think the other day we had 3 actually, because I had my regular Marvel Dice Throne mission playthrough. We had the podcast, and then I also think I did an unboxing of something that came in. Oh yeah, it was Final Girl Series 3. Came in while we were podcasting. My youngest son brought it into me, and I was showing Rob, look. But so there was 3 videos that day, but I'm trying to do something new every day. And so, yeah, hit that. Okay, enough of that. Anyways, Marble Dice Throne missions. Absolutely loving this expansion to the Dice Throne world. It is so much fun. It is so much more streamlined than Dice Throne Adventures was. It's not a table hog. It's not a time hog. It's so much easier to play. Better. They did a really great job. Like, the design of this is so much improved over Adventures. Now, Adventures was fun, but I felt like there was just too much overhead, too much setup, too much on the table, too many things to keep track of. And it just got to the point where it's like, that kind of took the fun out for my group. My kids and I, who were playing it, and we were trying to get a campaign. We just couldn't. It was a time suck, essentially. This one, I can set it up in a matter of minutes and it's ready to go. And it is a lot more streamlined and just laid out better. It's really a beautiful production, and I recommend it for anybody that loves Dice Throne. If you want a cooperative addition to Dice Throne, then there's two ways to do it. Either purchase Dice Throne Adventures, which is like a dungeon crawling fantasy style fighting against you are fighting the oh, I did it. I gotta meditate. Okay. You gotta fight against the Mad King, and so you're fighting some of the bosses from there. Or Marvel's Dice Throne missions. Even though it's a Marvel Dice Throne missions, you can play any Dice Throne characters you want in it. You will just be fighting against Marvel bosses. But you can use Pyromancer or the Ninja or the Cursed Pirate or whatever you want from the original, the original IP, I guess, the original characters of Dice Throne, and it's still going to be a lot of fun. In fact, right now I'm just going through by myself playing as Wolverine, so I did get in fact, his pack sitting right here. I'm using it to prop up my phone, and of course, there's old Wolverine right here. He's sitting over here watching me record, going, "Dude, hurry up! They don't care." Okay, we're down to the last 6 games, so we're getting there. We should be done here before the hour. Clank Legacy 2, Acquisitions Incorporated. I think it's called like Dark Magic, something like that. Played a couple more missions. I think we're halfway through this game now. I don't know what to think about this one compared to the first one. I loved the first one. There's something different about this second one, and I don't know. I don't have the same I'm not as sucked into this one for some reason, and I don't know why. There's new mechanic, there's new things going on, there's new stuff added and ways to play, but I don't know. I feel like it's not as much fun as I had with this the first. But I'm gonna hold judgment till we're done. Till we're completely done, and I'll see what happens. Okay. I also got to play Manhattan Project Energy Empire, and I got to play with one of the developers. And this was not only you're like, Mark, the game's old. Yeah, I have a copy of it sitting right here on my shelf, signed by that same one of the developers. Well, said dev asked me to play test something on the new release, which is right now, just released a day or two ago. They started crowd. Did it again. I gotta meditate. Gotta stop doing that. I gotta stop meditating so much. Okay. Manhattan Project Energy Empire is getting a reprint where they're changing like the artwork, and like some of the expansions are going to be built in like on the board. Like the board's double-sided, so you can have one side has the Doomsday Clock on it. You can flip it over and the board's different on the other side. So he asked me to help play like the 2-player kind of variant of this and test it out, and I got the opportunity to do that, and I really appreciate that. And now their Kickstarter has launched. So if you're interested, you can go over there to Kickstarter, look up Manhattan Project Energy Empire. You can get the new copy. You can see what's there available. One thing I like is I've got the older copy, and you can now get they're going to, I guess, redo the expansion or make it available for the original game, like which I have, so I can get like the Doomsday Clock and stuff because I don't have that. And so I backed that portion of it. I didn't back the new reprint just because I have a copy of it, and sorry, mine's signed. I mean, of course, I know I could get the new one signed too. The guys in our game group. So, but all right. So Manhattan Project Energy Empire, fantastic game. Really, really, really like this game a lot. All right, now we're into okay. So the next game I played 3 times. That's Flip 7. This game is really, really fun. It warrants the hype that it had prior to the holidays. It warrants it being sold out everywhere. It looks like it's now starting to get back into stores. If you missed this one over the holidays, start looking. I was able to secure a copy myself. Flip 7 is a fantastic card game. I did a video on this the other day. I did a review and actually showed how to play. Kind of did a little mock, like 4 of us, and you got to see how someone busts and how someone gets to avoid busting and freezing and second chancing, and someone actually getting the Flip 7 bonus. So you can get, basically trying to get 7 cards out, numbered cards that don't match. You don't want to duplicate. If you get 2 12s, you bust, something like that. So Flip 7, fast game. Hanamakoji, looks like I played this 4 times in February. And another good 2-player game. Plays quickly, and the artwork's really nice. Now I've played a couple different versions. My version is the geisha version. Also played the one with the like samurais. They both play exactly the same. It's just artwork essentially that's different. Okay, then I also got to play Apiary. This is a new game for me, and I've played it 4 times in February. And I think I played it in March as well. Maybe not. Maybe my last one was at the end of February. I think it was. So, well, I guess I could find out real easy. I could just switch to March, see if I played Apiary. Nope, I have not. So, okay. Apiary, played it 4 times. Love this game. It's another one from Stonemaier. I ended up buying the expansion. The expansion for this has so much new content. And I love what I love about the expansion for it is that the frames that you get in the base game are all the same. You can get 2 bonuses of just picking up cards, and every one of them's the same, and there's a big old stack. In the expansion, you get a big old stack of frames, but every one of them's different, and they have all kinds of bonuses. So, like, it kind of gives you more options. And what we did is, like, when someone wanted a frame, we gave them the 2 off the top. And you got to look, because you can always see what's on top. But it's like, here, take the 2 off the top, pick one, which one you wanted, and that's what you get. So that way you're kind of getting an option of which bonus you want. And it's just a lot of fun. We really enjoyed it. Okay, and I love Apiary. You've heard me say that. I absolutely love Apiary. I think it's a freaking phenomenal game. All right, so again, played 4 times. Now we jump up to the last game I'm talking about. I got 6 minutes to wrap this up because I'd like this to be under an hour. But what could I possibly played where I played it 9 times, all physical copies, and it's a new game. Came out in stores in February. That's Neon Rain. Neon Rain is like think of it an arcade, like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter type of battler. And it's all a card game. It's cards. You got a couple little tokens as well that you play in the game, but you're using a joystick move and hitting buttons. So the joystick moves will give you certain updates or do certain things. And then the button mashing, depending on how you do the buttons, they're what's doing the damage to your opponent. You can gain shields. You can strike cards from their deck, and you don't get once your deck's empty, that's it. You're done. and you don't get to reshuffle it. So it's a one-time through, and that's it. The game is a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. It's pretty quick. It's just the at first I didn't like the artwork. I thought it was a little Tronish looking, but I love the game. And I get it. I like the art does kind of have that, and it makes sense. You're thinking about like the old arcades and the button mashers and the joysticks on the cabinets and what the art was like back then. And Tron was huge, and it's like so kind of the art that they've got on the back of the button cards and stuff like that. It fits. It's like that's what it should be, and it does bring back memories of my days in the arcade. It's a real fun game. It's quick. You can play it, head to head, or you can play solo. And they've got a really neat system of how you can play against AI. And they actually have a learning mode where when you take a rest to refill your hand, the computer, your opponent, will not strike at you. Then you got the normal mode. Then you have normal mode where if you they call it to it's not resting, it's like a restock, or I forgot what the word is, but you're filling back your hand, the enemy's going to strike at you, because in a two-player game they can hit you just because you're taking cards. They may have played a little bit smarter and have more cards, and they're going to come at you. So in a normal game, the AI is always going to hit you. They don't ever rest, they always hit you. And then on a hard game, you're going to pull out, they're going to take, when they are, I think it's when they're defending, they get to take two cards, and you use two actions when they defend. I believe that's how it works. So it makes it a lot harder to take them out, and it does present a really good challenge. It's a lot of fun. It's a really nice game with those star powers. Like when you get enough stars, it's like you got your super, and you can use that and do massive damage to them. You also have ability to get shields and things like that, and to heal up. So it's a really fun game. Check it out. That's Neon Rain. All right. And that wraps up what I played in the month of February. This is the first one. Really, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the alert. But really, please, I would really love to hear your comments if you would like me to do this every month and share with you kind of what I've played, even though we've talked about it on our podcast. So if you don't want to, like I'm already catching it in the podcast, then let me know. If you like this format, say I like this because I'd like to hear your thoughts and what you played and a recap and how many games you played and all that. I'll be happy to do this every month. So really looking forward to seeing some comments, and just tell me what your thoughts are. All right. Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate you tuning in. Hope you have a great week. Take care. We'll catch you at the table.